Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week. My name is Josh Eldridge. I'm joined by Kevin Petrick and my friend Nick Bradford running the live stream tonight. This evening matchup is between the Henley Hornets and the Yreka MINERS. We are coming to you live from Gary Wheeler Field at U.S. Cellular Park in Medford. It was supposed to be the home opener for Henley tonight, but we had to move things out of the basin due to smoke once again. The challenger tonight on the road still are the Yreka MINERS. Last week, the Hornets dominated Ashland in the running game with Shaw Stork and Tulson Higgins being the top two rushers in the state with a combined 380 rushing yards last week. Kevin, I'm sure that's a trend that Henley would like to continue into this week. They looked good on the ground against Ashland.
Yeah, we talked about the running game going into last week's game, and really they have two advantages. They've got tremendous team speed. A lot of these kids will run track in the spring, so on top of their team speed, they have depth. There are 4, 5, 6 kids that can carry the ball, and hopefully we'll see all of them tonight.
Two kids specifically, like I mentioned, Shaw Stork, Tulson Higgins, combined 380 yards last week. Probably going to get more playing time this week than they did last week, too. Those kids can definitely run.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Stork, he wants to keep it balanced. That's how you beat the good teams. Throw when you need to, run when you have to, and hopefully we'll see a lot of things that we saw last week.
They talk about balance. One of the things that means is good on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Henley's defense looked really good last week. That linebacker core was flying all over the place. What did you see from the defense last week?
Well, that speed is on both sides of the ball, and we saw that at the linebacker spot. Very quick, and there's some hard hitters in there. And I was also impressed with Henley on the edges. They cause a lot of problems to opposing quarterbacks, and so hopefully we'll see more from the edges, and then the interior will also improve this week.
Looking forward to a great game tonight between the Henley Hornets and the Yreka MINERS. Going to take a look at Yreka coming up in just a bit. We're also going to talk with Henley head coach Alex Stork and take a look around the state. Big week of football this week, all over the place. We've got the NFL starting this weekend, college, of course, making a great return, and, of course, high school football tonight. So thanks for choosing us to be a part of your Friday evening. The Coach's Corner with Alex Stork is next on the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we'd gone to a cheap tire...
Yeah. He's been my friend since we were 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you know all the stories.
He's got dirt for sure.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we'd gone to a cheap tire...
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we'd gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Swing by today and get road trip ready with our always free pre-trip safety check. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Trying to lose some weight and get in shape? Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club provides a clean and friendly workout environment with professional and experienced staff to help you achieve your goals. They offer state-of-the-art equipment, indoor tennis and pickleball courts, certified personal trainers, tons of group exercise classes. They're the best exercise facility in the Klamath Basin. Plus, they now have a smoothie bar to give you a nutritious boost after your workout. See and feel the difference at Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club. It's the place to be.
The Coach's Corner with head coach Alex Storr is brought to you by Abby's Legendary Pizza.
Welcome back to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week. I'm Josh Eldridge, and joining me now is Henley head coach Alex Stork. Coach, we're playing in Medford today, a little bit different than we planned. How was your trip over?
Trip was good. It was a last-minute decision. We waited as long as we could, wanted to get a home game, but we're just happy to be over here and getting a game in tonight.
So I want to talk about your game last week against Ashland first. I think the two biggest takeaways that I had was, one, the running game, I think, probably worked as planned for you guys, and then two, your defensive backs and your linebackers were really flying around. Talk to me about those two aspects of your game last week.
Yeah, we really like our team speed throughout fall camp, and in week one against Ashland, we were impressed with the effort level on both sides of the ball. We thought our O-line, for being 5 new starters, did a really good job of blocking their assignments and taking the right steps. And the perimeter really blocked well, as good as we've had in the last few years. So really proud of those guys for their effort on both sides of the ball. Just need to take a step tonight and get even a little bit better and tighten up our operation in a few different areas.
Your quarterback, Shaw Stork, second in the state in rushing yards right now at the 4A. Talk about what he brings to your team, especially after what we saw last week in week one.
Yeah, with a lot of the run-pass option game that we like to feature in our offense, having a quarterback that has a little bit more mobility and ability to pull the ball in the read zone game just adds another dimension and opens up some of those passes in the RPO game.
And then finally, what are you looking at this week as we face Yreka?
They're always a really physical, well-coached group, and we expect nothing different tonight.
All right, perfect. Good luck.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, the retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Welcome back to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports. I'm Josh Eldridge, joined by Kevin Petrick. Tonight we are live from Medford, Oregon at U.S. Cellular Fields, Gary Wheeler Field. Kind of a last-second choice to move it here, but the weather looks generally nice if I don't drop my phone on the floor. And smoke cleared out. Looks like we're ready for football tonight as they've got the coin toss going on down there. And as Robbie Cesena, our white cap tonight, Henley has won the coin toss. They decide to defer to Yreka, and Yreka will receive. So that's how we start things off tonight. Same story as last week. Ashland won the coin toss, but Henley's defense came out with a stop.
Yes, it'll be good. You always want to come out to a quick start, and Ashland moved the ball a little bit, if you remember, in the first part of that first quarter, but Henley made some nice adjustments and played very well from that point on.
Henley entering play this week, 1-0 their overall record. Taking a brief look at the Skyline Conference before we get things started tonight, just a few short moments away. North Valley, the only other Skyline Conference team to come away last week with a win. Other than that, Klamath Union, Mazama, and Phoenix all coming away with losses last week. Tonight, some other games that we'll keep track of as the evening proceeds. Klamath Union on the road against Burns. Mazama also on this side of the hill. They are playing at Crater tonight. Hidden Valley playing Malala. North Valley traveling to Siuslaw. Tomorrow, Phoenix plays Staten. Some other Basin schools playing tonight. Lost River and Camas Valley. Chiloquin is playing on the road against Mohawk, and Bonanza is hosting Myrtle Point. So all these games we will be keeping track of tonight. Getting things started, looking down onto the field. Henley tonight wearing their varsity blues. They've got dark blue uniforms with their yellow numbering and white trim, the big H on the side of their helmet. Meantime, for Yreka, they've got white uniforms with red numbering on the front and back, and black helmets tonight. A pretty clean matte finish on those helmets. I got to say, I like those uniforms.
Owen Sheen will be kicking off. Owen Sheen proved himself to have multiple skills last week. He did a nice job kicking. He played a little defense as well, and also played some offense. So he'll be kicking the ball off tonight for Henley.
Well, he's got a lot of talent in all facets of the game. Special teams definitely not lacking. Henley kicking off toward the north goal tonight as the kick is up. Taking it on the hop for Yreka will be number 10, Anthony Rhodes. Has a little bit of trouble corralling it, is stopped at the 16-yard line. So call it a return of about 4 yards, and that is why Yreka will start their first possession of the evening.
Colton Smith got a piece of him, and then Connor Sieben finished him off. And Yreka will start deep in their own territory at about the 17.
The Miners driving from left to right across your radio dial as you would have it. Starting for the Miners tonight at the quarterback position is going to be number 12, Rance Zedeker, a senior. Off to his back is number 4, Tristan Zedeker. Pair of brothers there. You also got Caleb Lost-a-Lot as one of the guards, a wide receiver, Chance Hughes. You've also got number 28, Skylar Crane, going to be playing some halfback tonight. Number 34, the tight end, Lucas Day. You're also going to have Aiden Miller, Connor Bradley, Martin Morris, Connor Brent, James Wood on the offensive line for the Yreka Miners.
Checking everybody's equipment, and we're just about underway here.
I'll make sure everything's fast and nice and tight. 1st and 10 for Yreka from their own 17-yard line. Motion, Zedeker takes the snap and hands it off. A gain of maybe a yard on the play for the Miners. In on the carry that time was Tristan Zedeker. So we've got Rance Zedeker at the quarterback and Tristan at the running back position for Yreka. The running back Tristan, a junior, and his older brother Rance, the senior quarterback for Yreka. It is 2nd and 9 for the Miners. Ball is snapped, and this time handed off up the middle to Clarence Hughes, I believe. Pushed back. A loss of 3 on the play.
We called his name a lot last week, and there he is again, Colby Scholes, with excellent penetration across that line, and that's a loss.
It's good to see that linebacker core coming out and performing early for Henley. A lot of tackle for losses last week, not a lot of yardage on the ground for Ashland. 10:55 and counting to go in the first quarter. Yreka facing a 3rd and 12. 2 wide receivers set out to the near side for Zedeker as he rolls to his right after the snap, feeling pressure well out of the pocket, and he's going to be dragged out of bounds. In on the tackle for Henley, Garrett Northcutt, a senior, standing 5'9".
It looks like Yreka likes to flood the zone, and when we say that, we mean they put multiple receivers in one area, and Henley covered that perfectly. There was no one to throw to, and that brings up a 4th down.
Yreka trotting the special teams unit out there, back to receive for the Hornets. Got a couple guys back there. Going to have Tyler Harper, and I believe that's Logan Whitlock. And a flag is down on the field before the punt can get off. And that'll be against Yreka. Did you happen to see the signal? I looked down for half a second. It's going to be
looks like there was motion.
False start against the Miners.
Yeah.
So we'll call it 4th and 22. Yreka still to punt. This time from inside their own end zone. The snap, the kick is up, more so straight up. Coming in to try and field it is Harper, but they're going to let it bounce out and fizzle at about the 36-yard line, and that is where Henley will start their first drive of the game.
Henley had a good little rush going right there, and the punter was forced to hurry that kick, and that's going to give Henley excellent field position to start their first drive.
Trotting out onto the field, the Henley Hornets starters at the quarterback position. A junior standing 6'2" is Shaw Stork. His running back is going to be Tulson Higgins, and some wide receivers. Number 17, Austin Fitz, a junior, and Colton Smith, a wide receiver at the senior class. We'll get the line for you right after this first play as Henley now drives from right to left across your screen. This one handed off to Higgins, and
there was a fumble.
Looks like Yreka fell on a ball. Yeah, fumble on a handoff, and a quick turnover for Henley.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of that last week. That was just a simple problem with the exchange between Shaw and Tolson there, and Yreka has a break.
So the defense for Henley get to go right back at it. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Miners from their own 38-yard line. 10:25 to go in the first quarter. Still a scoreless ball game.
One thing Henley did not have last week was a lot of adversity. Not a lot of turnovers, not a lot of situations. So it'll be good to see how they handle this.
3 wide receivers set out to the far side for Zedeker. He takes a snap and hands it off to Zedeker, coming up the near sideline, and is hit at the 37, dragged out of bounds at the 38. Got back to the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Miners, 10:14 to go in the first.
Tulson Higgins coming from his linebacker spot to make that tackle. Short gain.
On a gain of 1, so it'll be 2nd and 9. Yreka still trying to drive upfield, was forced to punt on their first drive, faced a 3 and out. 1 wide receiver for Yreka set up to the near side. That'd be Skylar Crane. 1 to the far side is going to be Anthony Rhodes. And Zedeker putting a man in motion. Taking the snap and a fumble on the handoff and having to fall on it again. I believe Yreka was able to keep possession of the ball. But that will be a loss of 3 on the play, creating a 3rd and long for the Miners.
You know, I know for sure Henley has not been in pads since their last game because of the smoke. They haven't been able to practice as they should, and I'm assuming Yreka has had the same problem, and maybe that's why we're seeing some of the issues with handoffs and the ball hitting the turf a little bit.
Things that will almost certainly clean up as the game goes on.
Yes.
3rd and 12 for the Miners. 3 wide receivers set out to the left side of Zedeker. Takes the snap, looks to his left, and an incomplete pass just over the head of Ryan Dotson at about the 30-yard line. And as the pass falls incomplete, that brings up 4th down for Yreka.
That was a well-designed play. They sent 3 receivers deep on that far side and then just slid the running back into that open space, and a good throw would have caused some problem for the Hornets. But it looks like they'll get the ball back right here.
Punting team comes out for the Miners. They face 4th and 12. It'll be the 2nd drive in a row that they are forced to punt. Back to receive for the Hornets, Logan Whitlock and Owen Sheen. The kick is up. That punt definitely goes quite a bit further. Fielded at the 25 by Whitlock. Passes now the 40. Tries to get up to the 45, but is wrestled down by number 12 for Yreka, Rance Zedeker.
I think that was Colton Smith on that far side there, number 1. Yes.
Did I mistake that there?
That's all right.
Okay, well, that's why you're here too, Kevin. Good return for about 17 yards. So Henley will take over from their own 43-yard line. There's 8:24 to go in the first quarter. 3 wide receivers set out to the near side for Stork. Takes a snap and hands it off to Higgins, who's wrapped up in the backfield but breaks 1 tackle. Tries to get back to the original line of scrimmage on the near side. Gets back maybe a yard or 2, but loses about 4 overall on the play. It'll be 2nd and long for Henley.
Well, Yreka was not fooled on that one at all. And we talked last week about how the teams were kind of in the dark. Now we have video, and I'm sure Yreka has watched a little bit of Henley's offense, and maybe they're guessing a little bit, and they guessed right on that one.
It'll be 2nd and about 14 for the Hornets. Taking it from the center of the 2 hashes. Stork has got Higgins off to his right, hands it off to Higgins, who is wrapped up and dragged down after a gain of about 3 yards, getting back to the original line of scrimmage where this drive started at about the 33-yard line. Excuse me, the 43-yard line. And it'll be 3rd and 10 for the Hornets with 8:11 to go in the first.
Henley picking up the pace here. They're on the ball quickly.
Stork taking the snap, looking to his right, trying to air it out downfield, and the ball is caught at about the 35-yard line on the other side of midfield. A big play, and I believe in on that catch. Did you see who it was? I don't want to get the number wrong.
Austin Fitz.
Fitz making a big play there. Called his name quite a few times. Didn't score a touchdown last week, did Fitz, but quite a few big receptions.
Yeah, Austin and Shaw are making a few connections early in this season.
Big first down for the Hornets. That'll be the first of the night for either team. Henley 1st and 10 from the Yreka 35. A quarterback keeper for Stork as he fakes the handoff to Higgins. Now coming up the near sideline. He's up past the 35, now the 20. Gets up to the 15, 10, 5, and into the end zone. A 35-yard touchdown for Shaw Stork and the Henley Hornets.
Terrific play for the Hornets there. Shaw's a very capable runner. He got a terrific block from Owen Sheen coming around this near side.
So he set up for the extra point, 35 yards for Stork on that rush. And as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Shaw Stork actually the second leading rusher in the state with 133 rushing yards last week. Add 35 to that total. Extra point team out for the Hornets. To do the kicking is Owen Sheen. The kick is up, and it is good. Henley with a 7-0 lead over the Yreka Miners with 7:08 to go in the first. We're going to step aside, and when we come back, more first quarter action from Gary Wheeler Field at U.S. Cellular Park in Medford. You've got the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104 and 960 Sports.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we'd gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Swing by today and get road trip ready with our always free pre-trip safety check. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Welcome back to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports. The Henley Hornets leading the Yreka Miners early in the first quarter. There's 7:08 left to go, and the Hornets lead 7-0. That was a 4-play drive lasting 1 minute and 40 seconds, capping it off with a 35-yard Shaw Stork rushing touchdown. A great drive for Henley.
Yeah, I really like how they responded. They had kind of an unfortunate turnover, and, you know, the best thing you can do is just forget about it and play on. It's easier said than done, but they seemed to do that. They just jumped right back out there, and their offense led them right down the field for a touchdown.
Special teams out for the Hornets. Owen Sheen to kick things off for Henley. Kick more of a line drive is going to be fielded at about the 20 for Yreka, bringing it up past the 30 and out of bounds at the 35 was Rance Zedeker, the senior for the Miners.
Tyler Harper forced him out, made sure he couldn't get up the sidelines.
Last 2 possessions for the Miners have been 3 and outs. They took the ball the first possession of the game with 12 minutes, and then once again with about 10.5 to go. Both times 3 and outs. Henley's defense has kept the Miners to negative yardage so far. They've been doing a great job of getting in the backfield.
They have been. Just from the eye test, Yreka looks to have some pretty big athletes on the line, so I think it'll be a little tougher test tonight for Henley. We'll see how they respond to that.
Zedeker sending 1 wide receiver out to the far side. That'll be lost a lot, and then 2 on the near side. He's got his running back off to the right. This one more of a sweep handoff as Zedeker takes it and trying to cut up field for a gain of maybe 2 yards for Yreka.
Colby Schills and a couple of his friends on the stop right there.
It's a great thing about Henley is you could tell they are definitely friends down there on the field. They are joking constantly when you're around them. 2nd and 7 for Yreka. The snap and the Handoff up the middle, pushed back. Henley getting through the line, and I believe in on the carry for Yreka would be, was that Clarence Hughes again?
Did not catch that. A little tricky misdirection play there, and Braden Roach was right in the middle of that one.
A loss of 1 yard on the play for the Miners. 5:51 to go in the first, and the Hornets up 7-0. It'll be 3rd and about 6 to go for Yreka. The yard to gain is the 45. Miners sending a man in motion. This time Zediker on the keeper. Tries to break through one tackle and fight upfield before he's met by a swarm of Hornets at the 40. That'll bring up 4th down for Yreka.
Garrett Northcutt making a nice tackle there, making sure he didn't slip away and pick up the 1st down. And the Hornets look like they'll get the ball back. 4th and about 5.
Now curious, because this is one of those situations for Yreka where they're in a little bit awkward field position from their own 40-yard line. They've only got 5 yards to go. It looks like they're keeping the offense out there, so they're going to go for it on 4th down.
You're right. We'll see how this works.
And a false start. And it looks like jumping for the Miners is going to be Caleb Lost-a-Lot. And that is the call. So as they trot back to 4th and 10, I'd imagine likely a punt coming out now.
Yeah, that might have been one of those situations where the offense tries to draw the defense off. It was about 5 yards for a 1st down, and Henley did a nice job staying still.
Punting team coming out for Yreka, and thus a couple kids back to receive for Henley. The punt is up. More of a line drive, and that'll be fielded at the 40. Fitz taking it this time, crossing midfield, now up to the 45, and before being dragged down at the 40, there is a flag down just before where the tackle was made at about the 45-yard line. So we await the signal. This game is brought to you in part by Les Schwab Tires. If you plan on making any trips before winter, Les Schwab Tires will take care of you. They've got a free pre-trip safety check. You go on in there at any of the 3 locations in Klamath County, and they're going to help make sure that everything is in working order at Les Schwab Tires. They've been doing the right thing since 1952.
We need tires. This is the 2nd week in a row we've had to drive.
Yes, definitely. So it was Eugene last week, and then this morning finding out we got to go almost 100 miles west over here to Medford. But the weather is much nicer over here. It feels like we can breathe a little.
That was a good decision.
Yes.
Very nice night.
So the penalty goes against the Hornets. It'll be 1st and 10 for them from their own 45-yard line. They start with 4:34 to go in the first quarter. They lead 7-0.
Making sure they have the right football in there. Each team likes to have their own.
Now, that was something that teams generally did before the COVID rules came into place. They bring their own footballs.
Yeah, they would do that. Sure.
1st and 10 from the 45, and Stork taking the snap, handing it off to Tolson Higgins, who punches through for about 2 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and long for the Hornets.
Henley's testing Yreka right now between the tackles and haven't had a lot of success, but we'll see what Coach Pashy is dialing up here. He may be setting up something else.
Starting up front for the Hornets, it'll be Braden Morris, Juan Manzo, Emiliano Ortiz, Owen Northcutt, and Nate Tappan. 2nd and 9 for Henley. They take it from their own 46-yard line. Stork, play action pass, getting it to the near side to Colton Smith, who breaks one tackle, able to cut up the near sideline before being pushed out of bounds. That is a gain of about 13 yards on the play and good for a Hornets 1st down.
Oh, I like that. Shaw looked over to his left, and the defensive back was a little too far off Colton, and he just zinged it right through there. Had a nice gain.
That's the stuff we were talking about last week, those play-action passes that for some high school teams might not be installed till week 3 or 4, but a lot of carryover from last season.
Yes.
Stork takes the snap, hands it off to Northcutt, trying to cut up midfield, and does for a gain of about 4 yards on the play. That brings up 2nd down for the Hornets.
Nice run by Garrett, picking his spots there. And that was another different formation, kind of a bunch formation. Everybody was in tight for Henley that time, and it worked out for about 5 yards.
Brings up 2nd down for Henley. 3 wide receivers out to the right of Shaw Stork. He's got Northcutt to his left. And trying to get Yreka to jump. And they do. It's going to be offsides for the Miners, and that will move the ball up. We'll see if that ends up being a first down for them if they end up just short. And that'll be a Hornets first down by about 2 feet.
Henley's been very disciplined on the line tonight.
1st and 10 for Henley from the 27-yard line. Stork takes a snap, hands it off to Northcutt, trying to cut up the near side, gets up to the 20, now inside the 15, and gets taken out of bounds, I believe, just before the 10, might have gotten up to the 12-yard line before stepping out. And with 2:48 to go in the first, they're trying to decide if he stepped out by the 14 or by the 12, and those 2 yards definitely could make a difference.
Another big gainer for the Henley running game right there, right off tackle.
Another first down for the Hornets. That is their 5th of the evening. 1st and 10 from the 14 is where they're spotting it. Stork takes a snap, handing it off to Higgins, who's trying to cut up. Gets through one defender, up now to the 5, inside the 5, at the 3-yard line. And that will be good for another Hornets first down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 3. From the 3-yard line.
Tough running from Tolson there. And he is known for that. He's not afraid to put his pads low and push.
Higgins, the number 1 rusher in the state coming into tonight's contest with 147 rushing yards last week. 1st and goal, and everyone jumping on the front line. The only question now is who jumped first, and I think this one might be coming back. And it will, as the Whitecap tonight, Robbie Cesania, saying this one is coming back. 1st and goal now from the 9.
Henley had been very disciplined up to that point. Now they have a little more space to work with here on first down.
Could be a little bit of a blessing, though, because now you have room to pass if you'd like.
Sometimes it's easier to pass, yeah.
2 wide receivers sit out to either side of Shaw Stork, and he's got Higgins off to his right. Stork taking the snap, dropping back into the pocket, and trying to get it into the far end zone. The pass just incomplete. Intended target, Austin Fitz, just out of reach of his fingertips.
I like that idea. Shaw looking to his right, just a simple route to the corner, and Austin's the kind of guy you want out there. He's got good hands and he's tall. The pass just a little overthrown.
Fitz 6'4" and a junior. We'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. The Hornets trying to punch it in for their 2nd touchdown of the night. And a timeout is going to be called by the Miners. We're going to stick with you through this brief pause. I'd like to remind you this game is also brought to you in part by Coldwell Banker, Home and Premier Realty. They've got buyer and seller guarantees. What that means is if you buy a home from them, you need maintenance done on your house, they will pay for the cost of labor, and that is a lifetime guarantee from Coldwell Banker. You can check them out. They're down on South 6th Street. They want to get you into your new home. Check them out, Coldwell Banker, Home and Premier Realty. Score 7-0, $1:40 to go in the first quarter, and Henley only 9 short yards away from punching it in for another touchdown. This drive so far has been about 3.5 minutes. Gone 5 plays thus far, and Henley moving the ball nicely.
The season is young, but Henley's done very well in the red zone. They get inside the 20, and they've finished off their drives to this point. And I think what is helping them is Yreka's not going to know what to expect. Henley might throw, they might run. They've done a little of both. And this will be a good challenge for the Yreka defense here.
That's another one of those things where, and this is an Oregon versus California matchup, right? Henley here in the Skyline Conference. The Yreka Miners playing in the, the NIF? And different rules for how they played last season in California versus Oregon. So Henley's just the fresher team, and it's going to take Yreka a second just to make sure that they know what Henley's got coming. Shaw Stork taking the direct snap, takes it himself right up the gut for a 9-yard Henley touchdown.
Coach Pash, he dialed that one up perfectly. No problem for Shaw. He waltzed right through the line for a 2nd touchdown for the Hornets.
Awaiting the extra point, that's Shaw's 2nd rushing touchdown tonight, his 3rd on the season. Put one in himself against Ashland last week. And was there a flag down that we'd missed?
You know, they are backing them up. I did not see it either.
They backed him up quite a bit to the 15-yard line. They're saying it's second down from the 15. I'm unsure what happened there. Stork taking the direct snap, drops back into the pocket, trying to find it on the near side, cutting upfield and unleashes it into the end zone. Owen Sheen catches it, but they're calling it an incomplete pass. He was out of bounds. Looks like he got the foot down out of bounds before he got the foot inbounds.
In high school, you just need one foot inbounds, and he just couldn't quite make the grab and stay in play. And now we have a third down situation.
Third down and goal from the 14-yard line. So Henley had that touchdown taken away from them, a minute 30 to go in the first. They still lead 7-0. Stork ready for the snap, takes it, drops back into the pocket, rolling to his right, now moves to his left. He's being chased by Miners going backwards. Shaw Stork trying to find room and has to ground it near in front of the 20, and that'll bring up fourth down for the Hornets. And likely a field goal coming up. Stork feeling a lot of pressure, trying to wind around. Couldn't quite find his guy.
He had the entire line chasing him. He had 5 white shirts, and he was zigging and zagging trying to find a little space. He had good composure, though. He didn't lose his cool, and he just sent the ball out of bounds to avoid a big loss.
Looks like we're trying for a field goal. It'll be Owen Sheen to kick. Shaw Stork is going to hold it still for him. Call it a 30-yard field goal from the left hash. The snap and a fake. Stork falling back into the pocket. He's feeling the pressure. It's fourth and goal. Stork unloads one towards the end zone, and it is caught for a Henley touchdown. A fake field goal from fourth and goal from the 14.
I think the intention was to kick that. It looked like Shaw may have bobbled the ball a little bit. He couldn't get the ball down, and made a wise move to stick with that play. And Austin Fitz with a nice catch. He went high again. He is tough to defend.
I'm sure you asked Stork, and he definitely meant to do that.
That could be.
Flag is down before the extra point attempt. The score now 13-0 in favor of the Hornets, capping off an 8-play drive. A 14-yard touchdown reception for Austin Fitz. And having to move it back seems a little bit. So extra point attempt now being taken from the 15-yard line. That's where Sheen will be kicking it from. Stork still to hold it still. The snap and kick. It is just a bit wide right. So the score will remain 13-0. But a drive where we thought Henley scored once. They were able to convert on the points anyway. This ended up being an 8-play drive lasting about 3.5 minutes, capping off with a 14-yard touchdown from Austin Fitz. Henley able to get it done through the air to cap off that drive.
Yeah, I like the maturity that I saw there. That they had a broken play with the field goal attempt, and you have to teach the kids what to do in that situation. And the receivers knew, get in the end zone, find a spot to get open, and Shaw had the wherewithal to put the ball where someone could catch it, and that didn't happen by accident. They knew what to do in that situation, and it paid off.
Minute 22 to go in the first quarter. The Hornets up 13-0, unable to convert on that extra point attempt. So far tonight for Henley, 7 first downs, none for Yreka. Yreka is 0 for 3 on third down conversions, and the Henley Hornets are 0 for 1. However, they do have 1 fourth down conversion on that touchdown catch by Austin Fitz. Score 13-0. Hornets lead. The special teams units out there, and Owen Sheen to kick things off. Kick is up. Bounces around at the 10. It is picked up on the far sideline. Yreka now trying to take it out from the 10-yard line, bringing it up to the 20. And down at the 23-yard line for the Miners. That is where they will start their 4th possession of the game.
Carter Baker in on the stop right there. It's a pretty nice little run back for the Miners.
13-yard return.
And Yreka needs to get some offense here. I'm sure they're thinking they need to get 1 or 2 or 3 first downs and string those together and get a drive here.
Good opportunity to maybe try to air it out. Haven't seen them try to throw it too much. And that was what Ashland did a lot of last week. They tried to run the ball. When they aired it out, it worked for them. I'm curious to see how long it takes for Coach Waggy of the Yreka Miners to try to get something done through the air. It's 1st and 10 for Yreka from the 24-yard line. This one, another designed run up the middle. Good for maybe a yard, bringing up 2nd down for the Miners.
A load of Hornets in on that tackle. I saw Owen Northcutt. He was one of the gang.
Couple substitutions coming in for Yreka. Subbing in on the offensive line is going to be Dylan Wells. He's a junior. Number 77 out there, definitely the tallest kid out there on the line. You can see him if you're watching our HD video stream on mybasin.com. One wide receiver set out to either side of Rediker. He's got 2 backs in the backfield. New guy back there is Anthony Rhodes, and that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. 13-0 to score. We've got second quarter action coming up as the Henley Hornets in control of this one. Live from Gary Wheeler Field at U.S. Cellular Park in Medford. You've got the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 103 and 960 Sports.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place and then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Second quarter action from Medford. The Henley Hornets leading the Yreka Miners 13-0 as we get started in the second quarter. My name is Josh Eldridge. I'm joined by Kevin Petrick and Nick Bradford running the live stream tonight. The Henley Hornets start things off in the second quarter facing the Yreka Miners face a 2nd and long and no gain on the plays. We reset things here for you in the second quarter. The Hornets punching it in for 2 touchdowns in the first. Henley tonight wearing their varsity blues. They've got yellow lettering, white trim on their uniforms, and yellow sleeves. Meantime, Yreka, white uniforms tonight. The red numbering on the front and back. Matte black helmets. Yreka with the ball to start this second quarter. They face 3rd and about 8 as they drive from right to left across your screen. Appreciate you being with us tonight, whether you're listening on 104.3 and 960 Sports or watching the HD video on mybasin.com. Would like to thank John Bowers for listening in tonight of John Bowers Construction. Proud sponsor of 104.3, 960 and Henley Athletics as there's a flag down on the 3rd and long. And we'll find out what the play is. Is that...
Looks like delay a game, I believe. Is that right?
I believe so.
Took a little too long to get things going. Owen Northcutt's starting to figure things out down there. He made the last stop on that last run, and he and Austin just switched ends. They're trying to confuse that offensive line a little bit.
3rd and long for Yreka. Rediker tries to throw it across the middle to McEwen. Just incomplete. Bounced off McEwen's wrist. The senior unable to rein that one in. That'll bring up 4th and long. Another 3 and out for the Miners. That is the 4th time in 4 drives that they have failed to move the needle.
Colby Scholes in on the coverage there. I think even if he had caught that, I don't think he would have had enough for a first.
It's going to be Whitlock back to receive for the Hornets. A nice punt coming out as Colton Smith going to let that one bounce out to about the 42-yard line on the other side of midfield. That is where Henley will start this drive. With 10:48 to go in the first half, Hornets lead 13-0.
In the back of your mind as a coach, you're always playing field position, and Henley doing just what they wanted there. They kept Yreka deep at their own end, and they've got nice position to start their drive.
Starting this drive just about where they started their last one was at the 45-yard line instead of the 42, going in about 4 minutes, 8 plays, capping it off with a touchdown. So we'll see if Henley's able to convert points again, starting at their own 42-yard line. 3 wide receivers set out to the far side. I see Owen Sheen out there as Shaw Stork has also got Higgins to his right as the Hornets now drive from left to right across your screen. Stork awaiting the snap. Gets it. This one a handoff to Higgins, trying to fight through some defenders, and he does. Trucks one more. He's up past midfield now to the 40, brought down at the 35-yard line. Call it a gain of 15 on the play. And a first down.
Tolson was dragging a couple of miners with him on that carry, and Henley had 3 receivers split to the other side. They kind of spread the defense, and Tolson ran the opposite way with great success. And looks like we've got Whitlock into the ball game for the first time.
That was the 8th first down of the night for Henley on a about 15-yard rush from Higgins. Same formation coming out for Henley. This time handed off to Whitlock. He tries to cut up the far side, gets upfield for a gain of about 5 yards, brought down at the 30. Second down coming out for Henley.
It's fun watching these running backs coming in and out of the game. They're all quick, but they all have a little different style. And Logan gets going in a hurry. His strength is probably his speed right from the get-go.
And he tried to wrap around the outside of the offensive line, which, as you mentioned, is different from the approach from Higgins, trying to go right up the gut.
Sure, yes.
2 wide receivers set out to the near side. It'll be Smith and Sheen. And back into the game is Tolson Higgins, the running back, off to the left of Shaw Stork. 1 wide receiver also set out to the left side. This time a play-action pass is going to be caught along the far sideline, cutting up to the 20, up to the 15, 10, 5, and I believe into the end zone for a Henley touchdown. And I couldn't quite see the number on the far side of the field.
That was Colby Scholes out there, and they ran that play to Colton Smith in the first quarter on that same side, and they just did it again, and they executed it perfectly. And Colby scampered down the sidelines and found the end zone. Nice play.
From 30 yards out, Henley now leads 19-0 with 9:08 to go in the second. Scholes making that catch for his first touchdown reception of the year. It looks like the Hornets have got an interesting kind of formation coming out. Looks like they're trying to go for 2. That'll be a fake handoff and converting on the 2 points as Scholes connected with Colton Smith for the catch. So kind of tough to explain. Shaw Stork handing it off to Scholes. Scholes running about 5 feet off to the right, tossing it into the end zone to Smith, and that's a 2-point conversion.
Those conversions are meant to kind of put you to sleep if you're playing defense. And they line up all those players on the far side. And if the quarterback sees that he has more people, more offensive players on the right, he'll go in and they won't kick. They'll just run the play. That's exactly what they did that time. They had the numbers on this side, and it was an easy 2 points.
21-0 the score. We're going to stick with you right now as that drive lasting about a minute and a half, 3 plays, capping it off with a 30-yard Scholes touchdown. That drive having to go about 58 yards in that minute and a half.
We didn't see any real pressure applied by the defensive line from Yreka on that drive. In the previous drive, they applied a great amount of pressure. They had Shaw running all over the place. So they're going to want to get back to that if they want to stay in this.
Henley now going to be defending the north goal, so kicking toward the south. Back to receive for Yreka is going to be Tristan Zedeker. He's got one more guy out there with him. I believe that is Anthony Rhodes. They're set up at about the 10. The kick is up from Sheen, more of a line drive, and Sheen's got a boot. That bounces out about towards the 15. That's going to be fielded by Skylar Crane. He brings it up from the 15 out to about the 30. There is a flag down. There's 2 flags down, both at about the 20-yard line.
Well, if you heard the oohs and ahs from the crowd there, that was quite a hit, and it was by a player not on our roster. It was number 32.
So as we try to decipher, 2 flags down, one thrown by Cesania the Whitecap, one thrown by Darren Rutledge, and it looks like it's going to end up going against Yreka, bringing them all the way back to what looks to be the 10-yard line, deep into their own territory is where they start this drive.
It was a nice little run back, but it looked like an illegal block sprung him there. So Yreka once again starting pretty deep in their own territory.
1st and 10 for the Miners from their own 10-yard line. Every possession so far, and there has been 4 of them, have ended in a 3-and-out for Yreka. Redeker handing it off to Redeker as he tries to cut upfield for a gain of 2.
Looks like Northcutt and Higgins combined on that tackle, and Owen's going to come off. He's kind of favoring one leg there. We'll see how he is.
Checking into the game for Henley, Elijah Roloffs, a senior standing 5'10", 220 pounds, going to be subbing in there up front for Henley.
Eli is equally quick, so he'll get some snaps right here.
2nd and long for Yreka. 2 wide receivers set out to the near side, 1 off to the right. Redeker takes the snap and decides to keep it himself, and a designed run for the quarterback goes for naught. A gain of maybe a couple feet, but again, the Henley front 7 doing some real damage to the Yreka running game.
Tulson Higgins and Tyler Harper both in on the tackle. And you notice we're saying more than one player. These aren't solo tackles. They're really playing swarming defense, and as a defensive coach, that's what you want.
Well, you could call it a swarm of Hornets.
That is appropriate. How about that?
How about it? 7.5 to go in the second, and those Hornets lead the Miners 21-0. It is 3rd and about 6 to go for Yreka. The snap is low, and trying to get the pass off. It's intercepted by Henley's number 4, Logan Whitlock, and he takes it back to the 1-yard line.
Nice piece of defense by the Hornets. Garrett Northcutt was all over the quarterback, and he had it basically just a desperation throw, and boy, he threw it right to Logan.
And I didn't quite see a signal. Are they giving him the touchdown on that, or was he a yard short? I saw one official on the near side saying it was short. And still no official signal yet.
Well, the teams
are off the field.
They are off the field, so
unsure what the call is. And Coach Stork wondering the same thing, so he's out at about the 30-yard line.
We'll try to sort this out here.
So it's brought out to the 20. That's about where the interception was made.
Well, see, is the Henley offense or defense going out there? Well, it's first down.
First down. Looks like Yreka's coming back out. Was there a flag down that we'd missed?
I'm with you. I'm not seeing these flags.
Unsure of what the call is. It's first and down for Yreka from the 20-yard line. A handoff up the middle is going to get him back to the line of scrimmage. So no gain on the play, but also no loss for the Miners. And curious as to how they got the football back. I would like to hear the explanation from the officials because I'm sure there's a good one, but we're not clued in.
I can't figure. Maybe there was a fumble at the end of the play in the end zone and they recovered because they came right out to the 20.
Right. You think maybe there was a touchback?
But I didn't see that. But that may have been. It was on the far side of the field, and there was a crowd of people there. So maybe that's the situation.
2nd and 7 for Yreka. The yard to gain is the 30. Still fairly deep into their own territory. This is the third play of the possession coming up. And trying to unload it to the near side and just short of Matthew McEwen.
That was a nice piece of defense by Owen Sheen. He was all over that receiver on the near side.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Miners have got a new quarterback in. At least they did for that play. We're going to try to find out who that is for you in just a minute. It'll be 3rd and 7, 6:17 to go in the second quarter. The Hornets lead 21-0. And maybe it is still Redeker out there. Redeker taking the snap, dropping back into the pocket, trying to throw it downfield, and it is swatted down by Luke Bennett. Almost had the pick, but just going to throw it on the ground instead. Still an incomplete pass.
Luke Bennett is a nice player to have in your defensive backfield. Also very quick. And any quarterback who throws a pass with some air under it, Luke can get there. And he got his hand on that one.
We saw him do it last week against Ashland, too. He was about 2.5 steps behind an Ashland receiver, was able to catch up to him and break up the pass in the end zone.
Yes.
Punting unit coming out on the 4th and long for the Miners. Back to receive at about the 49-yard line. It's Colton Smith. That's going to bounce around at the 45, now out to the 50, and it's going to come to a slow stop at the Henley 46-yard line. That is where they will take possession with 6 minutes left to go in the first half. They lead at 21-0.
Henley seems to start all their drives in right about the same spot tonight. And they've been successful for the most part. That last drive ended a little strangely, but we'll see if they can push it across with about 6 minutes left to play in the half here.
Well, let's see. So they started their first drive of the game at the Yreka 36. They started the next drive at their own 43, then at their own 45, then at their own 42, and here they are at their own 46-yard line.
That's consistency.
1st and 10, Stork takes a snap, drops back into the pocket, and an incomplete pass over the middle, just off the fingertips of Austin Fitz. And that'll be an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 coming up for Henley.
That was a nice play call once again. Austin wants that one back. He's hitting his chest right now. He's saying my bad, but that's okay. But definitely a nice play call there, and chance for a big gainer.
Stork and Fitz have already connected for one touchdown tonight. It was for 14 yards back in the first quarter. Tried to do it again for a gain, but facing 2nd and 10. The snap going to Stork. Handed off up the middle to Northcutt. Northcutt fighting all the way through for a gain of 11 on the play, and good for a Hornets first down.
That was nice to see. At the end of that run, when Garrett was tackled, all of his linemen were right there with him. And you don't see that often. That line push, that's a great line push by Henley there.
1st and 10 for the Hornets. That was their 10th first down of the night. And now taking it from the Yreka 43. One wide receiver set out to the near side. It's Smith. Shaw Stork looking to his left side, trying to find Smith in space, and he does. Smith catches it at the 20, threads the needle between two receivers, and takes it to the house for a Henley touchdown.
What a pretty play there. Shaw with a pump fake, and Colton with a perfect route. When Shaw made that fake, Colton cut right past his defender, and he was open. That ball was thrown right on the money, and that's how you get that touchdown right there.
27-0, 5:09 to go in the first half. That was a 43-yard connection between Shaw Stork and Colton Smith, and now Owen Sheen on to kick the extra point. It's up, and it's a little bit low and quite, oh no, they got it right in between the uprights there, a little bit towards the right side. Either way, still good. 28-0. The Hornets lead in the second quarter. There's 5:09 left to go. Hornets in 51 seconds. Took them 4 plays, capping it off with a 43-yard Colton Smith Shaw Stork connection. Going to be right back on the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
And we're back on 104.3 960 Sports, live HD video on MyBasin.com. Appreciate you choosing us to be a part of your Friday night. The score, Henley leads Yreka 28-0. And the Hornets kicking things off. The kick is up, more of a line drive. Going to bounce her out around the 15. Takes an awkward bounce, but it is fielded at the 14. Bringing it up about 5 yards would be number 27 for the Miners. That is Skylar Crane. The junior trying to get a bit of a return there. And he's a bit slow to get up, but is going to walk off the field with a couple of his teammates around. Yreka will take over 1st and 10 from the 18.
Logan Whitlock first one to the ball there. Henley special teams looking very sharp tonight.
Well, so we talked about where Henley has started each of their drives in terms of field position. Yreka has started at their own 17, their own 38, 35, 23, their own 10, and now their own 18. And that is definitely contributing to Henley's good field position because Yreka has yet to get a first down tonight.
Absolutely. That's what you want to do. You want to win that battle of field position, and Henley's done a nice job of trapping them deep.
1st and 10 for Yreka from the 19 as they drive from right to left deep in their own territory. Redeker taking the snap, and he's going to keep it himself. Try to cut upfield, but he's wrapped up from behind. Brought down by about 3 or 4 navy blue uniforms for a loss of 3 on the play.
Braden Roach on the pursuit right there, and he made the tackle, he and Owen Northcutt. Well done.
And players running off the field. I believe that was a timeout taken by Yreka. 4:37 left to go in this first half. The Henley Hornets lead at 28-0. Coming up in the halftime show, going to talk a little bit about what we've seen tonight so far and the stats as we have them. We've also got score updates from the games around the state. Like we said, games in the Skyline Conference tonight. Klamath Union on the road. They're playing Burns. Mazama is this side of the hill. They're playing Crater. That's going to be a tough matchup. Curious to check the score in that one when we get the chance to at halftime. Hidden Valley, a Skyline Conference team, they are hosting Malala for their season opener. North Valley, the only other Skyline team with a win, is on the road against Sayusla tonight, and Phoenix is playing Staten tomorrow. Talk about some of these basin teams. Lost River is on the road against Camas Valley. Chiloquin is playing Mohawk, and Bonanza hosting Myrtle Point. They're the only game going on in the basin this week, but it's curious because the AQI in Bonanza was 79 by the time I left town. In town, Klamath Falls, 136. So they're able to play out there in Bonanza.
Good for them. Glad they got a game in tonight.
2nd and 11 for the Miners as they get back out onto the field. A fumble snap rolls back to the 2-yard line. The Miners able to fall on it. And I believe they did so before a touchback. They saved it at the 1-yard line.
That's a tough mistake for Yreka right there. That ball almost made its way into the end zone, but it is just outside at the 1.
It'll be 3rd and very long. The yard to gain is the 28. They're at the 1-yard line, so 3rd and 27.
Back in my day, we used to quick kick. Sometimes we'd punt on third in the situation, but that was like 100 years ago. So.
Taking the snap as Redeker falls back into the pocket, tries to fire it over the middle, but another incomplete pass. That'll bring up 4th down for Yreka. Another 3 and out for the Miners.
Good pressure right there. Henley was going for it. They knew they had him pinned back in a pretty bad spot, so good defensive call. And we're going to see a punt from the deepest part of the end zone here.
Practically underneath the uprights. Back to receive for Henley. That'll be Colton Smith and I believe Tyler Harper over there on the other side.
Yep.
And a fumble snap on the punt and brought down into the end zone. And that will likely be a safety.
I think we're going to credit Owen Northcutt with 2 points right there. He was the first one to make the play. And Henley's going to get a couple points and the ball.
That's the way you draw it up if you're Coach Stork, who's at about midfield right now, trying to bring his special teams out here. How often are teams like this going to practice a punt return but from the safety formation? Because it is a little bit different. Do you have to go over it real quick if you're Alex Stork and explain what's going on? Because I feel like it might not be a play that you practice all too often.
Yeah, you're right. This is something that they may not work on all the time, but I'm sure he's telling them just treat it like a punt. He'll have his punt team out there, and he'll just make sure that they're in the right spot. You're in a little different situation than you normally would be on a kickoff. And you can hear him explain the situation right now.
So it looks like they're having their kick return team out there, not necessarily just their punting team.
Yep, that's true.
So as a safety from 1 yard out, making the score 30-0 with 3:47 to go in this first half. Henley leads 30-0. They were up by just 13 heading into this second quarter and have added the other 17 in a short matter of time. This quarter alone, an Austin Scholes touchdown reception, a Colton Smith touchdown reception. Combine those two from 73 yards out, and then the safety.
They should be very happy with their offensive production through 6 quarters this year.
So far, through those 6 quarters, 65 points combined between those two games.
Very good. And the defense tonight, not a point. So, good, well-rounded game to this point by the Hornets.
So it looks like they're going to do more of a kickoff instead of the normal punt that you might see instead of the for the safety. The kick is up, bounces around at about the 45. Going to be picked up at the 35 and brought out past the 50. Call it the 47-yard line. That's where the Hornets will start this next possession. Colton Smith on the return, and another opportunity for the Hornets with fantastic field position.
That's the rough part of that safety, is not only do you get a couple points, but Yreka's defense has to be back on the field. So Henley can really put this game almost out of reach here with a touchdown.
Tolson Higgins in at the running back spot for the Hornets, and also Colby Scholes out to the near side, wide receiver. 2 wide receivers out to the left of Stork, and Higgins is also off to his left. Stork taking the snap, handing it off to Higgins, who's able to cut upfield. He's up past the 40, now the 35, shrugs off one defender. Now cutting out to the outside. He's brought down before reaching the 20. Call it a 27-yard gain for Higgins, and another Hornets first down.
One thing you don't want to do is give Tolson room, because once he starts to gain momentum and get that speed up, he is tough to bring down. And he has another long run.
Higgins, you look at him, and he's the prototype kind of guy to give you 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards for first down, and just continue with those small gains. But, man, you give that guy room, and he turns on the jets real fast.
He is surprisingly quick and strong, yes.
Lined up out to the near side for the Hornets is Colt Earls, a senior standing 5'10", new addition into the game for Henley. Stork taking the snap, looking off to his left side, gets it over to Owen Sheen. He catches it at the 20, brings it up past the 10-5, touchdown Henley.
And there is a flag, and it was thrown right at the snap. So we'll see what we have here.
False start against the Hornets, so it is coming back.
It's a nice looking play, but they'll have to try it again.
So they're saying illegal formation. Checking back into the game now for the Hornets is Owen Sheen. Stepping out is Austin Fitz. It'll be 1st and 15 for the Henley Hornets. 2:23 and counting in the first half. Stork has got Higgins out to his right, 2 wide receivers to his left, 1 to the near side. Stork falling back into the pocket, looking right. He feels the pressure, gets by 1 defender, unloads it towards the right side, and it is caught into the end zone. In on the reception is Colby Scholes for a Henley touchdown. No flags down. This time we got a double check, and it is good.
Once again, Shaw bought some time with his feet, and he scrambled hard to his right side. Colby did a nice job. He was running a deep route, and he stayed with it. Had he stopped, he wouldn't have been open. He ran right through the route and found himself wide open, and Shaw delivered a perfect ball.
That's Scholl's second receiving touchdown of the evening, and Sheen to kick the extra point. It is up, and it is good. 37-0. The Henley Hornets lead with 2:02 left to go in this first half. That drive, 3 plays. Henley went 43 yards in a minute and 34 seconds, capping it off with a Colby Scholes 33-yard touchdown, his second receiving touchdown of the night. His first came back in the second quarter from 30 yards out. So these big plays for Henley is really helping them out because they've got great field position. Their scoring drives are taking 3 to 4 plays to develop, and they're able to get off the field and stay rejuvenated.
Yeah, Yreka's finding out even when they can apply a little pressure, with Shaw's ability to move and keep the play going, he's having a lot of success.
Henley will kick the ball off with 2:02 left to go in the second. Yreka looking to put any kind of points on the board. They still have 122 seconds to do so, and 2 timeouts in this half. Sheen with the boot. He's going to be kicking things off. Just trying to look at some of these guys who are on the special teams unit for Henley. It's almost all of their linebacking core out there. They've got a couple running backs. All these guys, great tacklers, and they're tough. Special teams has looked real good tonight. Low kick from Sheen takes an ugly hop at about the 15. It's fielded at the 10. Coming to the near side is McEwen, and he is wrapped up and dragged down at about the 26-yard line.
Colt Earls in there on the tackle. Nice to see him. Making a good play.
So with 1:50 left to go in the second, the Yreka Miners taking over at their own 27-yard line. It is the second best field position they've had to start tonight. They started a drive earlier from the 35.
Henley special teams, they are playing very well, and it almost looks like the 100-yard dash on those kickoffs because you're right, they put all their quick guys, a lot of speed, and when that ball's kicked downfield, they get down there in a hurry.
Redeker's got 2 wide receivers set out to the near side and a running back to his left, puts a man in motion, the snap, and sort of a misdirection. It looks like that Tristan Redeker, the running back, kept it, but he is tackled for a loss of about 3 yards on the play.
There's Braden Roach again, and we're not going to call the names of the interior linemen much, but Matthew McCoy and Braden Roach doing a great job. They're stuffing the middle up in there and allowing those linebackers and those guys on the end to make most of the tackles. But they've even had some nice tackles of their own tonight. So well done inside.
The guys up front for Henley was one of the things that Coach Stork really was focused on in the offseason, considering how many guys graduated last year. These guys who were underclassmen, had a little bit of varsity experience, definitely stepping up tonight.
Yeah, they're having a good game tonight.
Two wide receivers set out to the near side for Redeker. He takes a snap, drops back into the pocket, dumps it off to his right side, and Tristan Redeker makes the reception. He gets by a couple of Hornets for a gain of 3 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd and 10 for Yreka.
That was a nice little gainer for the Miners. Little pass to the running back out of the backfield there. And Logan Whitlock was able to stop him for a short gain.
33 seconds and counting to go in the first half during the halftime show. Going to recap the game as we have it tonight and also take a look around the state. Mazama also playing on this side of the hill. They're playing Crater. We'll have a score update there. 3rd and 10, Yreka taking the snap. Redeker fumbles it. He's wrapped up into the backfield. He was able to recover the ball and now being piled on top of is frantically maybe trying to strip it away. It'll bring up 4th and long after the loss of 4 yards and the fumble snap.
Sometimes it's just one of those nights where Yreka's just having some trouble with some snaps and handoffs, and Henley is just too quick.
After that play and the loss, that'll bring us to the end of the first half. Henley leading 37-0 going into halftime. Coming up, going to take a look at the game as we have it. Take a look around the state. We've also got a big weekend of football ahead. College football making its return in its second week. The NFL this weekend as well. If we got time, we'll talk about all that coming up on the halftime show. 37-0. Henley leads after 24 minutes. You've got the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 960 Sports.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we'd gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Swing by today and get road trip ready with our always free pre-trip safety check. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Trying to lose some weight and get in shape? Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club provides a clean and friendly workout environment with professional and experienced staff to help you achieve your goals. They offer state-of-the-art equipment, indoor tennis and pickleball courts, certified personal trainers, tons of group exercise classes. They're the best exercise facility in the Klamath Basin. Plus, they now have a smoothie bar to give you a nutritious boost after your workout. See and feel the difference at Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club. It's the place to be.
Welcome back to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports. The score at halftime tonight, the Henley Hornets up 37-0 over Yreka. Henley, their running game has looked great. They've done it through the air, and their defense has held Yreka to not a first down in the first half. There's plenty to talk about. Kevin, where do you want to start?
Well, the most important thing probably for Henley tonight, they haven't been able to practice. I mean, they haven't been able to get the pads on. They haven't been able to play because of the smoke back home. So this is kind of like, it's like a practice. They're getting reps. I mean, you're getting a lot of kids in there, and they have a lot to be proud of tonight. They've played very well. They've executed almost every play that they've run tonight.
So their offense tonight, let's see, as we have it right now, they've scored 4 touchdowns. Shaw Stork started out with himself with a rushing touchdown. Since then, he's thrown 3 through the air. He's connected with Schultz twice, Austin Fitz once, and Colton Smith once through the air. It's a little bit of a different approach for Henley this week than it was last week. They are doing a lot more damage through the air, but still Tolson Higgins, you give that kid room, he's still a menace. But Shaw Stork able to see the field a little bit better tonight than I think he did against Ashland last week.
Yeah, Tolson almost exclusively running tonight. We saw a few more backs in the first half last week. And when you have the same back running every time, then your line is kind of used to him, and then everybody around him gets – so it's kind of how you get that machine rolling the way that you want it. And that's definitely what Coach Stork is looking for tonight, is how can this game tonight help what he does, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now. And the progression's coming along nicely.
I'll give you a couple numbers that I've got right here. Henley so far tonight, 11 first downs. Yreka has yet to get one. Henley tonight, they're 0 for 1 on third down conversions. Yreka is 0 for 5. So both teams having trouble on third down, although Henley has not faced it very much. Look at fourth down conversions. Henley is 1 for 1. Yreka is 0 for 1 thus far on fourth down conversions. So Henley doing a great job of keeping Yreka up against the wall on the defensive side of the football.
Right, and you can just almost see Henley building their confidence every series. I mean, they're just more confident. They're anticipating the plays better, and they look very good. They're in a good spot as far as being game number 2.
Hoping to continue the confidence for Henley as they lead 37-0 over Yreka at halftime. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to take a look around the state. Got a score update from the Mazama and Crater game. Mazama in firm control of that one. You'll have to stay tuned to hear what the score is in the third quarter. That is coming up on the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Welcome back to 104.3 960 Sports. We've got HD video on MyBasin.com. Coming to you live from Gary Wheeler Stadium at U.S. Cellular Fields in Medford. The Henley Hornets lead Yreka 37-0 at halftime. Some other games going on in the state tonight. The big one we've been keeping track of on this side of the hill, Mazama and Crater. Mazama losing to Marshfield last week, but this time in control against the Comets, 42-14, the score with just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Some other score updates from around the state. We've got West Salem beating Grants Pass High School. They're actually at Grants Pass, just 30 minutes west of us. West Salem is beating Grants Pass 21-13. North Medford is losing here in Medford 14-0 to West Lynn. Roseburg beating Mountain View 30-0 right now at halftime. And that is as we have it right now from around the state. Trying to effort some of the scores from around the Skyline Conference, but just to give you an idea of who is playing tonight, Hidden Valley is playing Malala. North Valley is on the road against Siuslaw. And tomorrow afternoon, the Phoenix Pirates playing Staten. Some other basin games being played tonight, Lost River and Camas Valley. Chiloquin is playing Mohawk, and Bonanza at home in the basin tonight. They are playing Myrtle Point. Also interesting this weekend, got some college football happening. Game in Oregon. Oregon State playing against Hawaii tomorrow night. Of course, you can listen to that game live on 104.3 960 Sports. Join Mike Parker on the call there. But the game everyone talking about in the state is happening Saturday, 9 a.m., Oregon and Ohio State. You going to be watching that one, Kev?
You know, normally I sleep in until about noon or 1 o'clock, but no, I'm just kidding. Yes, of course, I'll be up for that one. At 9 a.m. kickoff our time, so.
You can eat breakfast before or after that game, you think?
Probably during.
Yeah, have some scrambled eggs with kickoff for Oregon and Ohio State. In the NFL this weekend on Sunday, the Seattle Seahawks are going to be playing the Indianapolis Colts. The 49ers playing the Detroit Lions. On Monday, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be playing the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens fairly injured going into that game, so the Raiders got a fair shake at things on Monday. Always nice to have football back in the air. You can see it. If the smoke cleared out of the basin, tonight would definitely be a crisp fall night, perfect for football.
Yeah, you know, I was feeling like old sentimental football guy tonight. This is this is the first fall night. We've got the air's a little bit cooler tonight, and it's just a typical Southern Oregon beautiful evening here. And I definitely am longing for this to come back to the base and get that smoke out of there and start playing some home games. Yeah.
37-0 the score at halftime. The Henley Hornets leading the Yreka Miners. Going to step aside, take a little bit of a closer look at what we expect to see from both of these teams coming up in the second half. Stay tuned for that on 104.3 960 Sports. You've got the MyBasin.com Game of the Week.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we'd gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Swing by today and get road trip ready with our always free pre-trip safety check. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Welcome back to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports. I'm Josh Eldridge, joined by Kevin Petrick tonight. Nick Bradford running the live stream. By the way, if you haven't checked it out yet, if you've been listening on the radio on 104.3 960, be sure to check us out on MyBasin.com. We've got live HD video of this game. And the cool thing is yes, it lives on our website, but we're hosting it through YouTube. So if you've got a phone, a tablet, you can watch it there on your desktop PC. You can watch it on that. If you've got a smart TV with the YouTube app, you can check it out on the big screen. That also works for things like Amazon Fire Stick. If you've got a Roku or an Apple TV, you can get our games on your big screen. Also, if you've got a video game console laying around, an old PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox, whatever, you can always check us out on YouTube at My Base and click subscribe. You're able to get in the chat during the games and all that stuff. So check us out, live HD video, mybasin.com. Bringing you the... Oh, go ahead,
I
Kevin.
was going to say, I might add, it's free.
Yes, it is free.
Because a lot of other teams you have to pay to subscribe or watch, and this is a free video, so it's super. It's great.
37-0, the halftime score. The Henley Hornets up on Yreka. Henley has done quite a lot right tonight. What would you like to see keep going for these Hornets this evening?
Well, we have a little different situation than last week. There was a JV game tonight before this one, and so a lot of the younger kids got some action, got some quarters under their belt. So I'm sure Coach Stork would like to see a lot of new players this half, but you do have to watch that because I believe the kids only get 5 quarters a week, I think. So hopefully we'll see some new players. And with the running clock, the game will move quickly.
Right. So just for those of you who may be tuning in from Yreka, watching your team tonight, 5 quarters, meaning that you could play a quarter of junior varsity, you could play a full varsity game, you could also play a full JV game, still play a quarter of varsity. I know the rules are a little bit different down south in California, so JV players are able to swing up a little bit tonight. So Henley looking to mix some of those kids in,
yeah,
I think.
We may see that. And then as far as Yreka is concerned, as we mentioned last week, they want to try to win the half or the quarter. They just want to make the game smaller, try to get things on their sidelines. Yeah.
Hoping for good things from Yreka, looking to air it out maybe a little bit more in this second half. We'll see what they decide to do, and Coach Waggy still on the sideline with his team. We're going to step aside, come back. When we do, it's time for third quarter action from U.S. Cellular Fields in Medford. You've got the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 960 Sports.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we'd gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Swing by today and get road trip ready with our always free pre-trip safety check. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Trying to lose some weight and get in shape? Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club provides a clean and friendly workout environment with professional and experienced staff to help you achieve your goals. They offer state-of-the-art equipment, indoor tennis and pickleball courts, certified personal trainers, tons of group exercise classes. They're the best exercise facility in the Klamath Basin. Plus, they now have a smoothie bar to give you a nutritious boost after your workout. See and feel the difference at Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club. It's the place to be.
John Bowers Construction and Landscape Maintenance is in urgent need of landscape team members now. Call them at 541-205-1464 to apply. They're also looking for a construction team lead and a landscape maintenance team lead. They offer extremely competitive wages, paid vacation, and so much more. Call John Bowers Construction at 541-205-1464 to apply today. Email johnbowerslandscape@hotmail.com. TCB number 188923. Equal Opportunity Employer. Welcome back to 104.3 960 Sports, the MyBasin.com game of the week. Right now, the Henley Hornets lead the Yreka Miners 37-0 as we get ready for the third quarter. We will have a running clock in the second half as Henley's up by more than 35, so the clock only stops for official timeouts and after touchdowns and extra points. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes. The clock, for the most part, will just run without stopping for the remainder of the game.
So Henley is going to get to start with the football in the second half as they won the coin toss but deferred to Yreka, who chose to receive as we started things off this evening.
I'm going to guess, I'm not good at this type of thing, I'm going to guess probably about 200 friends and family made the trip from Yreka and Henley. Got a nice little turnout here in Medford.
Always nice at these neutral site games that are kind of thrown together last second, that the parents and friends and family, like you said, still able to make it out. Ashland and Henley both had a pretty good turnout last week against in Eugene, and Yreka making the trip tonight, and glad to see folks generally smiles on their faces. And like you said, it's a nice, I would dare say, perfect fall night for football.
It really is. And people may not realize that they don't decide the game site. Today was just around, I think, noon.
Yes, we found out at noon that we were going to be coming over to Medford.
So not a lot of time for families to get together, but they are dedicated, and it's nice to see them out tonight.
So Henley will end up receiving. A couple of new guys back there to do said receiving for Henley. We're going to have, I know I saw Luke Bennett out there, and the returner on the near side. Can't quite tell who that is.
That might be Colton again back there, Colton Smith.
So the Henley Hornets tonight, the varsity blues. They've got a yellow stripe down the side of their pants, but mostly navy blue uniforms with yellow lettering and numbering and white trim. As they receive the football at about the 25-yard line, as they now go from right to left, bring it out to the 40, and a 15-yard return for Henley, and that is they will start their first drive of the second half.
Tolson Higgins was the up back, and he picked the ball up and ran it. Tolson's on the field pretty much the whole game. Special teams, offense, and defense. So
you say, yeah, he's on the field the whole game, but his motor stays running throughout the entire game. He does not take a breath.
Yes, it does.
Tolson off the field for this one. It's going to be Northcutt in the halfback position. Stork takes the snap, tries to dump it near side to Colton Smith, but right through his fingertips. An incomplete pass brings up 2nd and 10 for Henley.
Henley's been pretty sharp tonight with the passing game. That one slipped through the fingers. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Out to the near side is Colton Smith. In the slot for Henley is Owen Sheen. One wide receiver out to the far side. Northcutt off to the right of Shaw Stork. 2nd and 10 for Henley. Ball is snapped. Stork handing it off to Northcutt, who has to go backwards. Gives him the stiff arm. Now trying to cut upfield. Another stiff arm. A gain of 1 on the play before being brought down at the 43-yard line.
Aiden Miller for the Miners did a nice job of getting in the backfield, and he almost brought Garrett down. But Garrett, pretty nice effort just to gain a couple on that one.
Be 3rd and 8 for Henley. In the first half, 0 for 1 on 3rd down conversions. This is only the 2nd time they've had to face 3rd down tonight. 3 wide receivers out to the far side for Stork. He takes it, falls back into the pocket, looking right, now left. He dumps it off to Northcutt on the near side, gets up past midfield, gets the first down and then some. Up past the 40, brought out of bounds to the 35 on the other side of midfield. Call it a 17-yard gain for Northcutt on the reception and a Henley first down.
I like what I saw on that one. Lots of downfield blocking, and that's how you make those short catches, long touchdown plays. Some good downfield blocking for the Hornets.
1st and 10 from the Yreka 36-yard line. Henley driving toward the north goal. Shaw Stork taking the snap, drops way back into the pocket, feeling pressure, unloads one downfield, and it's picked off by Yreka at the 20. Making the catch, Matthew McEwen, and 3 flags down all at the site of the interception. Almost every official who's over there tossing some laundry on the field. Some groans from the folks in the stands, too. I looked down to check my roster to see who made the interception, and whistles and flags and groans. Unsure what happened down there on the field.
Well, whatever happened, it was unanimous because there were a number of flags all thrown at the same time. So
it's going to be against Henley. Is it a personal foul?
I'm sure. Yeah. So a couple good things there for Yreka. That's what they wanted to do coming out of the gate here in the second half. They had a nice defensive play or two, and then they get the interception.
They're going to take it from their best field position of the night at the 38-yard line. Best starting field position of the night, I should say. 1st and 10. Yreka. 2 wide receivers set out to the near side, and another fumble snap. Able to pick it up, trying to cut back upfield, but wrapped up and dragged down for a loss of about 7 on the play. That was Anthony Rhodes taking the direct snap and unable to handle it, bringing up 2nd and long for Yreka.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion there for the Miners. They had linemen running in and out of the game, and unfortunate snap is going to make it a real tough 2nd down for them.
Call it 2nd and about 19 to go for Yreka. Squandering some pretty solid field position they have. Now snapping it from the 30, the yard to gain is the 49. 8 minutes and counting in the third quarter. The Hornets lead 37-0 over Yreka. Rhodes taking the direct snap again, trying to cut up field, but he's stopped at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. And we'll bring up 3rd down for Yreka. And it looked like for just about a split second that Anthony Rhodes might have a little bit of a hole there, but swallowed up almost right as the hole was created.
Yeah, Connor Sieben in there along with Higgins. And not much gain, if any, on that one.
Continue to be 3rd and 19 for Yreka. So far for the Miners, 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions this evening, facing their longest of the night. The snap goes to Rhodes. On the option play, he decides to keep it, wrapped up for a loss of 4 on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down for Yreka.
Owen Northcutt at the bottom of the pile, and Garrett Northcutt.
Those brothers working pretty well together on the defensive end of the ball. They did it last week, too. 4th and very long for Yreka as the punt unit trots on out there. It'll be Whitlock and I believe Tyler Harper for Henley back to receive. The punt is up. It was a good one. Fielded at about the 40 by Smith, and he lets it drop through his hands. He picks it up at the 25, falls down back to the 20, and looked like he tried to catch it over the shoulder Willie Mays style, and he couldn't quite rein it in.
He's trying to make an aggressive catch there, and he did maintain possession. That's what you want to do in that situation. So Henley will come back with a chance to score with about 6 minutes to go here with the running clock here in the third quarter.
Take it from their own 24-yard line. Like you said, 6 minutes left to go. Running clock, third quarter. Henley leads 37-0. Shaw Stork taking the snap, dropping back into the pocket, looks near side to Colton Smith. Catches it at the 25, gets up to the 30, brought down at the 35. A gain of 12 and a Henley first down.
That's a good job of just taking what the defense will give you there. Colton had a lot of room on this side. And Shaw made a nice throw.
Very short curl route ran by Smith there. He ran about 2 yards up and then dropped back. You can see he's being played quite a ways off by the defensive back for Yreka.
Looks like Harper's at quarterback here.
Harper taking the snap, handing it off to Higgins near side. Higgins sheds one defender, cutting up the near sideline, and tries to get through another one. Call it a gain of about 5 on the play. Second down for the Hornets.
Tolson showing he's nimble right there. He did a nice job of tight roping down the sideline. Probably picked up an extra 3 or 4.
Higgins, for a kid who moves that fast, is that big and strong. Great balance, too, along the sideline.
Yeah, he does. He does have good balance. Very good.
One wide receiver on the near side for Henley. That's number 18, Chris Janney, a sophomore, 5'10". Harper takes a snap, looks to his left side, connects with Sheen. Sheen dancing around one defender, cuts upfield, threads the needle, stays on his feet, and gains an extra 3-4 yards out of it. Call that a 7-yard gain and a Henley first down.
Harper's a junior quarterback, and on that particular play, he needed to look to his left and then throw back to his right to make that play work. And he did a nice job. Made a nice throw, did a good job shaking off the defense a little bit, and earned himself a first down.
4 minutes and counting in the third quarter. Running clock, Henley leads 37-0. Harper with the back off to his right. He's got 3 wide receivers, 2 to the near side and 1 to the far. And it looks like some movement up front by some folks in blue down there. Although there was jumping on both sides, likely going to go against the offense as these things do, and it does. 1st and 15 now for Henley as that brings them back onto the other side of midfield, now from their own 47-yard line. The yard to gain is the 38. Same formation for the Hornets as Higgins is going to hand it off to Whitlock. Whitlock coming up the near sideline. He's up past the 40, now the 35. Trucks one at the 30 and gets an extra 2 yards. Taking the contact, fighting through it, and a gain of 25.
Emiliano Ortiz, one of the linemen way downfield, making some nice blocks, bringing that run. Really impressed with the line play as far as pushing and continuing their blocks till the end of the play. Nicely done.
That marks the 15th first down of the night for the Hornets. 1st and 10 from the Yreka 28. Harper keeps it on the play-action pass, tries to get it through a couple of defenders. The intended target was going to be Luke Bennett. Falls safely to the turf, though. It'll bring up 2nd down.
Nice little play action. Coach Pashy making the calls. I'm a big fan of calling the plays in with signals from the sideline. It's a very effective way to do it. It's efficient. You can be quick if you want to. And Henley has mastered it well here.
Whitlock, the running back, playing this full series back there, and a flag down. And another false start for Henley. This time it's going to be charged to Eli Roloffs, senior, 5'10", as they bring it back. It'll be 2nd and 15 for Henley. Running clock, 2:15 to go in the third quarter. Harper takes the snap, handing it off to Whitlock. Whitlock trying to find a hole, bounces out to the outside, cutting upfield now. He's up to the 30 and tries to fight his way up to the 20 and does. Brought down maybe to the 19-yard line. And that'll be good for a Hornets first down.
Some shifty feet there. He moved side to side a couple times, making defenders miss. That was a nice run.
Bouncy was how I would describe that. He bounced off a couple guys.
Absolutely.
1st and 10 from the Yreka 18 as Henley drives north downfield, looking to extend their 37-0 lead. Harper takes the snap, looking to his left, is going to connect with his man. That'll be number 13, Connor Simon, and still fighting upfield, a gain of 8 on the play. And it'll be 2nd and short. I believe he's just short of the first down marker, and he is. So it'll be 2nd and 1.
This group's getting a nice little run here. Every snap Tyler takes, he's getting more comfortable, and you could tell. And another nice ball thrown there.
56 seconds and counting to go in the third quarter. Running clock, Henley up 37-0. Harper, one wide receiver set out to the near side. It is Simon. Harper taking the snap, is going to hand it off to Whitlock, who fights his way up the middle for a gain of about 8 yards on the play. They're going to say it's about 7 yards, so that brings up first and goal for Henley. Their 17th first down of the night. This play already going 8 drives. This is the 9th coming up. Likely can get one more playoff before we head to the 4th and final period.
That was a nice crease made right there by Alex Lumbreras in the game right now at guard.
9 seconds and counting. Harper calling for the snap and gets it. Is going to keep it himself and fight his way into the end zone for another Henley touchdown. And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. Henley up 43-0. And the question now, I believe they're going to kick the extra point before we head to break. Owen Sheen to kick this extra point. He had 3 last week. Add another 5 tonight. That one is up. Splits the uprights. It's good. 44-0. The Henley Hornets lead as we head to the fourth quarter. MyBasin.com game of the week on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Welcome back to the MyBasin.com game of the week on 104.3 960 Sports. The score 44-0. Henley leads. Yreka getting the ball to start things off in this fourth quarter, and a flag down at the side of the tackle. Out of this break, Henley finishing their last drive. It took them 10 plays to go 76 yards, and it took them 6 minutes even.
Had a face mask on that tackle, so we'll move it up a few yards, and Yreka will take over.
Yreka first and 10 from their own 35-yard line. And I call it the 36. The Henley defense has been great, holding Yreka to negative yardage tonight. First play from scrimmage is an incomplete pass. Second and 10 for Yreka.
Henley defender there closing in fast, and the receiver's eyes switched from the ball to the guy coming at him, and that dropped incomplete. It's a good piece of defense by Henley there.
Coming off the field for Henley is Tulson Higgins. He's put in more than a night's worth of work tonight, I'd say, and likely seeing some of his last snaps of the evening.
Another big night for Tulsa.
Second and 10 for Yreka. Redeker takes the snap, trying to dump it off close. The pass is caught, but quickly swallowed up is Clarence Hughes, A gain of 1 yard on the play, 3rd and long.
Nice series by Hughes. He was in on the last play as well. He's getting some time in there, making the most of it.
Third and 9 coming up for Yreka. Some defensive substitutions for Henley. Checking in, Nate Tappan, number 76. Defensive lineman, junior, 5'10", 230 pounds. Playing some defensive tackle for the Hornets tonight. 9:59 and counting here in the 4th quarter. Hornets lead 44-0 over Yreka. Direct snap and trying to make a play, cutting upfield. Now up the far sideline, he's hit after a gain of 7. That was Skylar Crane, the halfback, taking a big hit just short of the first down marker. That'll bring up 4th and 3 for Yreka.
I think that was Logan Whitlock, and he did put a big hit on the running back there. It's a nice stop. That'll bring up a 4th.
Yreka has attempted to convert on 4th down once tonight. It was unsuccessful. And it was from about the same field position as and same down and distance, really, too.
Right. We'll see if they try to draw Henley off sides here with a quick count or a weird count.
4th and 3. Dumped off near side to Yates. He cuts upfield, gets up to midfield, and a first down for Yreka, their first of the evening. Making some progress downfield are the Miners.
Absolutely. Nice for them to convert on that 4th down, get themselves a little momentum of their own here.
1 for 2 now on 4th down conversions tonight. And it's 1st and 10 from midfield. Right at the 50. And the near hash is Yreka. 2 wide receivers set out to the far side. Taking the snap is Crane, and he tries to cut up the far side. Zips a pass, but it is broken up. Incomplete on the far sideline.
I think that's Luke Bennett in there. Did a good job of getting there when the ball got there and broke that pass up. Nicely done.
Substitution coming in for the Hornets is Colt Earls, a senior, 5'10", 155 pounds, checks into the game. Also out there, well, we got a number 3 out there, no number 3 on the roster. I was going to try to give someone credit.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a few junior varsity players out there that we may not have the numbers for, so hang with us.
That's quite all right. Some JV players getting some varsity experience tonight, and a timeout called by Yreka. We will take 1-2 with 7.5 to go in the 4th quarter. It is 44-0 on the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports. John Bowers Construction Landscape Maintenance is in urgent need of landscape team members now. Call them at 541-205-1464 to apply. They're also looking for a construction team lead and a landscape maintenance team lead. They offer extremely competitive wages, paid vacation, and so much more. Call John Bowers Construction at 541-205-1464 to apply today. Email johnbowerslandscape@hotmail.com. CCB number 188923. Equal Opportunity Employer. Welcome back to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 960 Sports. Henley leading Yreka with 7.5 to go, 44-0. But Yreka driving on offense here. They got their first down of the evening just a moment ago. It's now 2nd and 10 from the 50-yard line. Crane takes the snap. He's playing quarterback for Yreka. He's hit, but he's able to get the pass off, but it falls incomplete over the middle. Intended target was Tristan Zedeker.
I like what I'm seeing from Yreka here as far as they're not letting up. They're not quitting. They're down 44, and that's what you want from your kids. I mean, they're playing aggressively. They're still trying to score and move down the field. I don't see any give up in these guys, and I commend them for that.
3rd and 10 for the Miners from the 50-yard line. Group substitution as well for Yreka. Couple of new faces checking in. Ethan Crowley, a sophomore wide receiver checking into the game. Saw him out there. He's We're playing a little bit of running back maybe this time. Crane takes the snap, dropping back into the pocket. Tries to throw it over the middle, but it's intercepted by Bennett at the 35. Brings it up past midfield, now at the 45. There is a flag down, and he steps out of bounds. 2 flags down at the 45-yard line on the Henley side of the field, which would be the left side. 2 flags down and right about the same location. Must be for the same penalty, and didn't quite see what it was.
Good job by Luke. He doesn't miss much back there. He has the speed. If he sees where he wants to be and sees a ball that he can get to, he gets there. And made a nice grab.
Going against Henley, so the interception will stand, but the Hornets offense having to back up quite a ways. Or are they keeping the Yreka offense out there? No, just a little bit of trouble with the line crew, getting ahead of myself. It'll be 1st and 10 for Henley from their own 31.
And who do we have a quarterback?
It looks like that is number 3, junior varsity player. We'll be sure to get him on the roster for next week. Playing some quarterback, and a lot of junior varsity guys out there now probably trying to fill their 5th quarter. Taking the direct snap, that's going to be handed off. Trying to fight up the middle was, I believe, well, another running back who, number 22, don't have him on the roster. So quite a few junior varsity kids in for Henley. Now Yreka still has some varsity folks out there. But most of the Henley starters, their helmets are popped. They're on the sideline, and it's likely going to be a happy bus ride home for those Hornets.
Certainly.
5:40 and counting. Another handoff onto the near side, and a gain of about 4 yards on the play. That will bring up 3rd down for Henley.
This is how you get experience. It doesn't just happen accidentally. You get kids in there to get repetitions more and more, and then the better they get, then that adds to your depth. You start getting competent players, and that's how you build your program. So these are some important downs for these kids.
So I've got the junior varsity roster up right now from OSAA. Number 3 is Chase Backus, a sophomore, 5'9". He's playing quarterback, handing it off to number 22. Still no 22 on the junior varsity roster, but in terms of who's listed as a running back, don't want to guess too much, but a couple running backs on the junior varsity roster would be Nolan Northcutt, and also I guess Canby could be out there, and some guys up front. We'll try to get you who's out there right now for Henley in terms of who's on the junior varsity squad. We know that Backus is in at the quarterback. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Henley. Backus drops back into the pocket, feeling pressure, tries to throw it over the middle. The pass broken up by number 14 for Yreka. That is Jonathan De Los Santos. Calling his name for the first time tonight. A good defensive effort.
That was a nice play. That was a pretty good ball thrown by the young quarterback, but just a little bit better defensive play.
2nd and 10 coming up for the Hornets from their own 45. Backus taking the snap. He's going to hand it off to his running back, trying to cut upfield. He passes midfield, brought down at the 46. And that would be, well, again, unsure. I tried to pull up the junior varsity roster, trying to cover the bases, and still some discrepancies. So I do apologize for those of you watching and listening. Just trying to figure out the roster with some of these JV kids. We'll try to get it updated for you for next game.
That was just short of a 1st down. That'll bring up 3rd and about a yard, a long yard.
3rd and short. Backus taking the snap, handing it off to his running back, able to get the 1st down and then some. Cut up the 40, now the 35 before being brought down at the 32-yard line. Pretty much right at the right hash.
De Los Santos with a tackle. He's having a good defensive series here for Yreka.
2:56 and counting to go in the 4th quarter, and Henley leads 44-0 over the Yreka Miners. If you stick with us in the post-game show, we'll break down the numbers and the action as we've had it tonight. Also, some score updates from around the area. We've got a final for Mazama and Crater. Also, tonight, of course, we are here at U.S. Cellular Fields playing at the home of St. Mary's and Cascade Christian. St. Mary's actually on the road tonight against Illinois Valley. We've got that score for you a little bit later on, too, as well as some of the games happening over the hill. Here, Grants Pass, North Medford, South Medford playing, and all those scores coming up in the post-game show on 104.3 960 Sports. Short gain on first down for the Hornets brings up second and long. 2:15 and counting to go in the fourth. The Hornets lead 44-0. Lucas takes the snap, looks to his left, now looking right, and hits his man on the near sideline, and a gain of about 3 yards on the play.
Colt Earls with the sure hands right there. He's had a couple good plays tonight.
Earls, 170 pounds, 5'9", making the reception. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Henley. And this time, handed off to the running back, trying to cut up the far sideline, is going to get the first down, call it a gain of 6 on the play, and another first down for Henley. 1:30 and counting for the Hornets as they just look to play out the final 80 seconds of this game and come away with a 2-0 record on the season. That's a great place to be for any football team. Try to go 1-0 each week. So far, the Henley Hornets have done it twice.
A very nice start to the season. First thing you want to do is just get the games in, and we've been fortunate to do that, and then you want to win them. And it's been a great 2 weeks for the Hornets.
Another handoff for Henley, this time to the near sideline, up past the 20, brought down at the 15. There'll be a gain of 9 on the play. Second down coming up for Henley.
Hornet players all looking to the sideline. Some of these guys, this is their first chance to get the plays in from the varsity sideline. They'll help each other out with them if they don't get them right away.
And likely one play left is now 25 seconds to go in the ball game. I guess taking the snap, dropping back in the pocket, looking to his left. The pass is incomplete. Intended target was Bennett. And we'll see if they decide to hustle back up to the line. All of the coaches popping the headsets off. 9 seconds to go, and this will be the final score tonight. The Henley Hornets, supposed to play their home opener tonight on the road in Medford. They take one 44-0 from Yreka. We'll be right back with a post-game show. We'll break down the game as we have it tonight, as well as take a look around the state, some of the scores that we may have missed this evening. That's coming up on the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
Swing by today and get road trip ready with our always free pre-trip safety check. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
All I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Trying to lose some weight and get in shape? Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club provides a clean and friendly workout environment with professional and experienced staff to help you achieve your goals. They offer state-of-the-art equipment, indoor tennis and pickleball courts, certified personal trainers, tons of group exercise classes. They're the best exercise facility in the Klamath Basin. Plus, they now have a smoothie bar to give you a nutritious boost after your workout. See and feel the difference at Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club. It's the place to be.
Welcome back to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 960 Sports. Henley beating Yreka tonight 44-0. And Kevin, from start to finish, the Henley Hornets seem to just have a mojo about them tonight and coming away with a big win.
Yeah, if you're trying to plan out your season as a coach, this is what you want. You know, last week you kind of introduced yourself to the players. You know, who are your leaders, who are your athletes. Week 2, you want to refine some of that. They tried some new things tonight, very successful. They had a few mistakes here and there, and they took care of those mistakes and advanced their game all the way through. And just a good performance. If you're a Henley fan, you're happy. Well done tonight.
Without a doubt. I'm sure those players are happy down there on the field. You can see them on mybasin.com. Breaking up out of the north end zone. They're going to climb on the bus here shortly, head on back to Klamath Falls. But before we do, I'd like to give our fair shake to how Henley scored the football tonight. Shaw Stork creating the first touchdown of the night with a rush of his own, making the score 7-0. Following that up, he connected with Austin Fitz from 14 yards out. Henley was not able to convert the extra point there, but they did on their next touchdown as Stork connected with Schultz from 30 yards out. They also had the 2-point conversion there. That made the score, what would that be there? 19-0, and then adding it up with another Smith touchdown from 43 yards out, threading the needle there, adding 7 points. They got the safety mixed in there for 2 points in the second half. Schultz with another receiving touchdown this evening, just adding 7 more, and the 44th point came from Harper, keeping it from about 9 yards out, punching in the final touchdown, and Sheen with the extra point there on that one, making the final score 44-0. Number that stands out to me, Henley again, obviously winning the first down battle. 17 first downs for the Hornets, only 1 for Yreka. Henley converted on 1 of 2 of their third down conversion attempts tonight. Yreka 0 for 7. And both teams converting on 1 fourth down conversion of the night, although Yreka 1 for 2. Henley 1 for 1. So Henley, again, this game is exactly how they'd like it to be. I'm sure they're going to look to continue this momentum into the next game. We got Crook County next week for Henley.
Right. You know, there are a lot of different elements to football. You have all kinds of elements on both sides of the line of scrimmage. But one thing you can always count on, if your running game is strong, you can be in the games. And Henley's running game has looked terrific with a lot of different personnel involved. Very good.
Henley's final score tonight, 44-0. This is only one of a few games going on around the state, only one of a few games going on this side of the hill for the Skyline Conference. Mazama beating Crater tonight. We'll tell you the final score in just a minute on the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.9 960 Sports.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Welcome back to the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 960 Sports. Final score tonight, Henley 44, Yreka nothing. Henley improving to 2-0 on the season. Not the only game that we were worried about tonight, though. Of course, the Mazama Vikings were over the hill tonight playing Crater. 42-14 the final. I got to be honest, Mazama looking shaky last week against Marshfield. Crater's a very good team. I had high hopes for Mazama, but they surpassed him. A great win for Coach Lease and his Vikes, 42-14 the final there. A couple other finals from around the area. St. Mary's, who we are playing at their home field tonight. They were actually on the road tonight against Illinois Valley, which is out in Cave Junction. They beat them 21-6. St. Mary's with the win there. There's some other games that we are awaiting the final score from tonight, but overall for Henley, things are shaping us up nicely for them. They are now 2-0 on the young season, and North Valley still 1-0. Klamath Union up at Burns tonight. As far as we know, they are 0-1 on the season from last week. Mazama is now 1-1. Phoenix plays tomorrow. They're 0-1 on the season. Hidden Valley, they played Malala tonight. Do not have a final score there, but that is their first game of the season. Last week got pushed out due to smoke, and so Hidden Valley playing their first game this week. You mentioned to me the Lost River beat Camas Valley with a score of 35-0. Chiloquin was playing Mohawk tonight, and Bonanza out at Myrtle Point. You got to imagine, as we take just a brief look at the top 10, Mazama ranked number 6 in the state right now. A win against Crater in that fashion has got to bump them up the list. Marshfield, Marist, and Banks, your top 3 in the state of Oregon. And Hidden Valley is number 10. And I got to imagine Henley on the outside looking in, I'd like to see him receive a little bit of maybe some votes next week. They don't have to necessarily crack the top 10, but it'd be nice to receive some votes.
Yeah, their offensive production the last 2 weeks, sure, they could jump into the top 10.
With this win tonight, Henley is now 3-0 in the past 4 seasons against Yreka, a 44-0 win tonight. That about does it for us this evening. Thanks for being a part of the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports. You can watch an archived replay of this event and many others on MyBasin.com. It's your home for everything going on in the Basin, from news to sports and everything in between. Check us out online, MyBasin.com. Once again, the final score tonight, Henley beating Yreka 44-0. I'd like to thank the folks that hooked us up here at U.S. Cellular Field tonight in Medford, the Cascade Christian folks for getting us set up, and of course Henley Athletic Director Jesse Hamilton for calling an audible at about noon today and getting us over the hill, able to play some football tonight. And of course the folks out at Yreka High School. I talked to April in the athletic department today, hooked me up with the roster, and of course their head coach Brian Waggy, wishing them a safe trip home back over the border to California. Once again, the final score tonight, Yreka falling in this one 44-0 to the Henley Hornets. For Nick Bradford running the live stream tonight and my partner Kevin Petrick, I'm Josh Eldridge. Good night from Medford, Oregon.